All right. Well, hello again and welcome. Thank you for joining our career event today with Way Up. We are so excited to be here with you guys. So a little bit about me. I'm Amanda, the Senior University and Diversity Recruiter for Toll Brothers, and I will be the host / one of the moderators for this event today. A little about me. Actually, yesterday marked my 6th year with Toll Brothers. I started on the recruiting team, and while still on the recruiting team, a few years ago moved over to manage our college recruiting program. So I really enjoy having the opportunity to talk with so many students interested in the real estate industry. This afternoon, we'll take about 15 minutes to go over a presentation of all things Toll Brothers, and then we'll pass it over to Mike Patchke, who will tell us a little bit about home building as a career. And then next, we'll introduce the panel that we have here today and spend the rest of the time answering questions. So I hope you have brought some. And if you think of any questions, please send them through the chat, as Jasmine and myself will be monitoring that, and we'll get all questions answered for you. All right, so let's get started. Toll Brothers was founded in 1967 by Bob and Bruce Toll. Back then, the focus was only single-family homes in southeastern Pennsylvania, and today we are a Fortune 500 company that serve urban and suburban, luxury move-up, empty nester, and active adult buyers, as well as renters in 24 states and over 60 markets. A few years to note here: in 1986, great year, Toll Brothers becomes a public company and listed on the New York Stock Exchange. In 1990, Toll Brothers becomes the largest builder of luxury homes in the US. In 2015, Toll Brothers takes the #1 spot for honors of the world's most admired company for home builders by Fortune magazine, and has been able to hold that honor each year since. And then in 2017, Toll celebrates its 50th anniversary. The photo on the top right is the senior executive team ringing the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange on the 30th anniversary. So that was a big deal for us. As mentioned, we currently build in 24 states and over 60 markets. This map shows a breakdown of those locations. Here you can see our average delivered home price in comparison to other large builders. You'll notice our average delivered home price was $875,000 for Q1 of 2022. This price includes the base price of the home plus the lot premium, along with options and other add-ons. Wall Street considers the larger builders to be our competition, but since we are the only national builder focused in the luxury space, we actually consider our competitors to be the small private builders. This is why our average price point is double some of the builders listed. In 2020, we moved our corporate headquarters from Horsham to Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, about 20 to 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. This is a brand new state-of-the-art building with an open floor concept, lots of natural light, and high-end finishes that are very in line with our luxury brand. Today, we have the most diverse types of homes, more than any other builder, and we continue to diversify our product offering. Historically, we focused on the larger move-up homes. Now we have a healthy mix of single-family homes, townhomes, active adult communities, city living condos, and even campus living properties. Recently, we've begun to focus more on the affordable luxury market, creating beautiful homes that are up to our Toll standards, but are more affordable and targeted towards a younger generation who might be buying their first home. So let's take a look at just a few of our beautiful homes. Here's affordable luxury. This is for our first-time home buyers. This is a home in Florida. Move up. This could mean first, second, or third home for a family. Typically, that family has outgrown their first home and maybe has had more children and can afford a larger home. This is one of our homes in Apex, North Carolina. I saw in the chat that somebody's from there. Whoop, whoop. Second homes, which is typically a vacation home, not the buyer's primary residence. So this is one of our homes in Arizona and shows off our outdoor living, which is most commonly found out west. Empty nesters, these are buyers whose children have gone to college or moved out and are looking to downsize. This is one of our homes in Reno. Active adult communities will offer a diversity of home styles, including condos, townhomes, single family, and patio homes designed specifically for those 55 years of age or older, and most of which offer low maintenance living with exterior maintenance and landscaping provided. Master plan communities offer different home types in a community, such as active adult, townhomes, and single family homes. This picture seen is the amenity center of a master plan community in Las Vegas. Some of our master plan communities are exclusively Toll Brothers, while some will offer a variety of builders and styles. Suburban high density, so built in premier location, these elegant condos and townhomes are built with luxurious features, the finest finishes, and are walkable to nearby shops and restaurants. Our City Living division was founded in 2003 and has grown significantly since. We've completed construction on 42 buildings totaling 5,100 units. We're currently selling in communities in New York City and New Jersey's Gold Coast. We have land in New York City, Philadelphia, LA, and Seattle, and we're exploring Boston, San Francisco, and Miami. Apartment living and campus living. So we combine premier locations with luxury for sale finishes, services, and amenities in urban and suburban markets that complement the for sale business. Toll controls land for future apartment and student living units in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. Urban mixed use. So by owning the process from acquisition to development to property management, we create apartments and mixed use retail that bring value to both our residents and our financial partners. This is our Pier House at Brooklyn Bridge Park. It's half hotel and half condo for sale and was our first joint venture with the hotel, along with our first project in Brooklyn. It has been extremely successful for us, selling at more than double what we had planned. In addition to the wide variety of home types, another thing that sets Toll apart from our competitors are the subsidiaries under the Toll umbrella. These groups work together to provide a great experience for our buyers. First, we have TBI Mortgage, our in-house mortgage company. We also have our own in-house architecture and engineering firm, Toll Architecture. So having an in-house architecture firm saves us money and confirms we are offering designs that our buyers will love. It also allows us to make changes for buyers who want custom structural options. ESC Consultants is our engineering firm. They provide in-house surveying, planning, engineering, and environmental consulting services. So ESC looks at all the land we're considering buying to help determine how many homes we can fit. Therefore, they help us see how profitable the land could be. Toll Integrated Systems, or TIS, is our manufacturing facility. We have 5 locations around the country. They don't serve all of our markets, but they do serve most of the markets on the East Coast. TIS manufactures and distributes things like lumber, wall panels, floor and roof trusses, trim, windows, and doors. The finished product is delivered directly to the home site for assembly. So TIS improves timeline and quality, it reduces cost, waste, and our dependence on labor. Next, we have our design studios. These studios are located across the country in all our major markets and showcase the design options buyers can choose from. The fun stuff like countertops, cabinets, faucets, and more. There are base model options included in the purchase of every Toll home. However, in fiscal year 21, the average buyer added 23% to base home price in options and lot premiums, which averaged around $167,000. TBI Smart Home Solutions provides alarm monitoring services, smart thermostats, and smart lighting solutions exclusively to our buyers. Westminster Title provides residential and commercial title insurance. And lastly, Toll Landscape offers a full range of landscape services to our buyers, all at an additional add-on. So these services enable the customer to work directly with Toll Brothers throughout their home buying and building journey versus working with many different companies. It's another luxury of working with us. So based on everything we've heard so far, it's pretty clear why our buyers and investors choose to buy and invest with us. Now, we'll talk a little bit more of why people choose to come and work for us. Toll is a well-established and known brand with over 50 years in the home building business. Our average tenure in senior leadership is about 16 years. This shows that we aren't just a place to start your career, but we're a place you can build a long-term career with. Next, we have a diverse geographic footprint with balance across the US and lots of opportunity to grow. We currently own or control over 61,000 lots. We build homes for the market we are in versus building the same cookie cutter home over and over like other national builders tend to do. We have many product types, which means employees have the opportunity to work on new and exciting things in various locations. And lastly, the housing market. Still in an okay spot right now. Outside of the shortages, our economy remains supportive of our business. Some bullet points here are we're still seeing lower interest rates. There's a huge surge of millennials purchasing their first homes. Boomers are making lifestyle changes. The work from home phenomenon where buyers are freer to live where they want, not necessarily where they work. Nesting instinct drives desire for more square footage, more choice, more usable designs with home offices, multi-generational living and areas for study. So all of these components play to Toll's advantage. Touching more on culture, Toll Brothers started as a family business, and the family business feel is still very much a part of who we are. Our employees are passionate about cultivating a diverse and inclusive culture and have started several employee resource groups. We currently have 5 employee resource groups at Toll. We have Toll Women's Network, Veterans at Toll, Believe, which is Black employees leading inclusion, excellence, vision, and education. We have Mosaic, which is multicultural organizations supporting an inclusive culture. And we have Toll Pride. Anyone can join an ERG at any time. These groups are voluntary, employee-led, and include employees of all backgrounds who are interested in supporting other employees, enhancing career and personal development, and contributing to the community. From a charity standpoint, there's a lot that we do across the country. In fact, every employee is given a day of service in addition to their paid time off that they can use to get involved in a charitable event. From a corporate standpoint, these are the 4 charities that we support. That means that we give to them as a corporation, but we also get involved in events local to our division offices as well. So we've gone over some perks for working for Toll, but here is the best and most unique one, our vacation homes. Toll has 8 vacation homes across the US for employees to visit with family and friends. These are open to all full-time employees upon hire date. So next, we'll talk about opportunities for students, why we're here. First, we'll chat a little bit about internships. So we have a great internship program. Last year in 2021, we brought on 50 interns across the country. The majority of our interns were in the field where they could be outside, socially distanced, and hands-on with project and construction management. We also brought on corporate interns in marketing, purchasing, apartment living, accounting, law, and HR. When we decide to hire an intern, we focus on meaningful work and projects that complement what you're learning in the classroom to give you that real world experience that you're looking for. While a lot of our interns work only for the summer, we do understand some programs and schools offer co-ops or semester-long internships, and we do participate in those as well. It just depends on the location and the division needs. We could definitely accommodate a longer stint for an internship. We recognize interns as the future leaders of our company, and we invest in this program because of that. So the goal of our intern program is to rehire interns multiple summers and eventually convert the best interns to full-time hires. We aim to extend returning intern and full-time offers to interns in the fall so they can start the school year with a job offer in hand. Now, for graduating students who are not looking for internships, but are looking for something full-time, we have several training programs for entry-level hires that I'll talk through. First is our National Production Training Program, which was officially rolled out in 2020. This is the perfect place to start for someone who wants to do construction management. So we'll hire assistant construction managers and construction managers into this program. The career path can take you to an area production manager, which is the leader of multiple communities at one time. Next, we have our Management Associate Training Program. This program has been around for many years at Toll and has gone through many changes and enhancements as our business continues to grow. Currently, this is a program for anyone who's interested in real estate development, but wants exposure to everything that running a community entails. So like purchasing, vendor setup, building models, going through land acquisition, development and entitlements, the actual construction or sales. Employees who complete this program can land in a number of different roles at the community and division level. We are working towards creating a future sales track focus for this program too. So anyone who thinks that real estate development is interesting, but are focused on a career in new home sales, this could be a good option for you. Lastly, our ALDM program rolled out last year. This land development program will hire assistant land development managers who are part of the land acquisition, engineering, and development processes. Without the LD team, we cannot begin to build our home, so this work is critical to the success of the company. All three of these programs I just mentioned have a focus of on-the-job training. So you're not just sitting at a desk or in a classroom to learn how to do the job, but you're actually putting on, your work boots and learning from seasoned experts in the field. Now, if none of the above programs sound like the right fit for you, we also have opportunities in land acquisitions, mortgage, engineering, marketing, architecture, and many more. These groups all provide the training for you to successfully start your career with Toll Brothers. So that will wrap up the presentation. I will stop sharing my screen and pass it over to Mike Patchke, who's going to talk to us about careers in home building.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. Welcome, everyone. My name is Mike Patchke. I'm the Vice President of Talent Acquisition with Toll. I've been with the company almost 19 years. So one of those long-time Toll Brothers employees that has seen this company go through some ups and downs, but obviously, love the company, right? I wouldn't have spent 19 years with one organization if this wasn't a great place to work. And as Amanda has said, there's many advantages to coming to work for Toll Brothers, but also want to just give you a broad picture of why is Toll Brothers and other home builders booming right now? What is it that excites us about the market and the growth that is ahead of Toll Brothers? So again, as I said, I've been here 19 years. So when I started in 2003, the real estate market was booming, right? We go through 2003, 4, 5, 6, and all of a sudden we hit what's called the Great Recession, right? The real estate market popped at that time. And what happens after 2008, as we come out of the Great Recession, the real estate market did pretty well, but it wasn't as robust as people thought. So from 2008 to about 2020, things are just kind of like they're growing at a nice, even pace, not too high, not too low, just kind of steady as we go. But what happens at that time is the US population continues to grow. Household formations continue to grow. And the country itself was not putting enough units in the ground to sustain the growth that was happening through, all the census data that you receive. So you now have this situation where you have a shortage of supply. There's just not enough, the country itself hasn't put enough houses into the market, so you have a limited supply. And as Amanda said before, here's what's driving it post-pandemic, right? So then I'll fast forward, you get to March of 2020, we had a new word enters our vocabulary called pandemic. COVID is a thing, things get shut down. Oh my goodness, what's going to happen to the economy? What's going to happen to everything? Fortunately for us, one of the industries that was deemed essential was construction. Right, we were creating housing for people at a time when people needed their house. Right, they couldn't go anywhere. They didn't want to go to a hotel. They didn't want to. They couldn't go out. We needed to maintain building people's houses. And now you can tell a joke. Who the heck would buy a house during a pandemic? Everybody. And the reason for that is a couple factors. One, as I've stated before, there's not enough supply. There just wasn't enough units in the ground. Amanda drew out a great point before. You had this massive generation called the millennials who are now entering their 30s. who are now entering the market as a home buyer. When you look at typical baby boomers who are also a big generation, hence the reason we focus on active adult. But if you think of the baby boomers back in the 70s, most baby boomers were married, bought a house, had a child by the age of 20 something. Today, a millennial is entering that 30s before they start thinking about household formation, buying a house. So that wave, that big generation, is now entering the home buying process. Shortage of supply, a lot of demand, low interest rates. Now, it's one thing that we continue to watch. As you've seen in the news, interest rates are starting to creep up. So we continue to monitor that, but they're still at pretty low levels. Even if you hit a 5% interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage, it's still very good. But it's something that we just have to watch. How does that impact the home buyer? So you have low interest rates. You have this big millennial generation. You have no supply. You have very limited resale market. And then you have all of this phenomenon of what's come out of the pandemic. People love their house because it's where they now spend time. I no longer have to live where I work. So I don't have to live in certain markets because that's where the job has kept me. So now people are moving all over the country to live where they truly want to live, knowing they can work remote. You have the nesting phenomenon where it is their house is their sanctuary. So they want the square footage. They want 2 offices, right? So you have a lot of this like perfect storm of situations of why everybody is buying a house. So you have an option. If you go out and buy a house, you can go to the resale market and you hear the news, it's very competitive. All cash offers, waiving appraisals, waiving inspections. You're going to be one of 30 offers to go onto a resale product. Or you can buy new with Toll Brothers or any other builder. So hence the reason that the real estate market right now is doing very well. What we will do at this point is, one last thing I'll see is you see a lot of growth, people leaving cities. Who wants to live in a city right now? And you see a lot of growth in what we call the smile of the United States. So you're talking down from the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, over to Texas, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, California, right? People no longer want to live in the Northeast and deal with snow. And the Northeast is still a very good market for us. There are still people that want to live up north, but you see a lot of migration patterns of people leaving certain cities, getting back out into the suburbs and leaving for warmer climate. So again, all those reasons why, Toll Brothers, not only a great organization, as we're very in tune to what the real estate market is doing, hence the reason we offer very diverse product lines and diverse geographic footprint. But you've picked a great industry to be in. Home building is a bell tower. Like it is very impactful to our economy. Appreciate you joining. Pass back over to Amanda.
Thank you, Mike. Always good to learn from your lessons. All right, now we are going to introduce the panel that we have with us today. So if Leora, if you could start us off, tell us a little bit about yourself, your title, your tenure, how long you've been with Toll, and how you got here.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Mike. So as Amanda said, my name is Leora Hakim. I started at Toll Brothers just over a year ago, so in February of 2021. I started in the Management Associate program, which Amanda briefly discussed, and I'm now a project manager in the community planning sector within the Los Angeles division, actually. I started my career actually in commercial real estate on the investment banking side. I did that for just under a couple of years immediately after college, where I graduated from the University of Southern California in 2019. I was a double major in business administration and real estate development. But as it relates to home building, it's one of those things where you come in from school And it's very difficult. And I mean, it's quite impossible to learn how to build a house in school. You have to come in, you get your feet wet, and you start from the bottom up. And I think that, you know, coming into a program specifically at Toll Brothers, like the MA, the Mandarin Associate program, where they give you the opportunity to rotate through different sectors within the company, it allows you to grow from a very, you know, a strong standpoint. You get the foundation of the company and ultimately grow. So I think from my perspective, joining the MA program was a very strong start in terms of how to get into the home building industry.
Awesome. Great answers. Thanks, Leora. Rob.
Hi, I'm Robert Jones. I'm the Vice President of Land Development here in Houston, Texas. I am a civil engineer out of Texas A&M University. Whoop. One of the greatest things about development is it's not only is it a culmination of various disciplines and ideas, but I get to shape memories through the communities that we plan and build. And that's whether it's the house where your baby takes their first steps or the pond where you feed ducks during retirement. We get to play a hand in that. And so it's a very rewarding part of the job where you can go 5, 10, 15 years later and just look at the product of your work and how it has shaped people's lives and provided them with experiences that they will keep with them forever.
Well said, Rob. Thank you. Jasmine.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jasmine. I'm a diversity and inclusion specialist, and I started with Toll last May as an intern in our human resources department at the corporate office. And in October, I transitioned into the diversity and inclusion specialist role. I really enjoyed the internship program and getting to know more about the business. And in that internship, I was working on a lot of our efforts around advancing diversity and inclusion. So it was a perfect role for me to step into, and I've been enjoying it so far. It's a great company, and I'm happy to be with you all here today. Just a reminder, we will be taking some questions live and throughout the panel. If you have anything that you want to bring up, we will be monitoring. So please feel free to engage. We are here for you and to answer all of your questions. So we look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Jasmine. Let's see. One of the questions that we got was, are there development opportunities within Toll? So I know we've kind of gone through our stories or our timeline, but does anybody want to give kind of where they started with Toll to the career progression and maybe the different, or just, yeah, their career progression to where they are now on the panel?
I can start. I started here at Toll in 2014 as a development manager, responsible for 1 or 2 jobs. As we began to acquire more property and more communities, started to build a team underneath me and progress to senior development manager, director, to currently I am vice president, which is very good being that I've been with Toll for only 8 years. So I say that's a pretty good opportunity for growth. Toll also does a wonderful job of providing an avenue for you. So if you're you've got a ceiling above you for someone who's similar age, they provide other opportunities around the country in our different markets to let you grow and gain in your career and then take on new responsibilities to get to the goals that you have set for yourself.
Well said. Thanks, Rob. Anybody else on the panel want to speak to development opportunities with Toll?
I think Rob hit, the nail on the head with what's called internal mobility, right? That we look at as we, have an opening, we post a majority of our jobs internally as well. So all of our employees, provided, they're in good standing with the organization, they've been in their current role for 1 year, have the opportunity to apply internally for positions, whether they be in their own division or in another part of the country. Because what's better, than promoting or training our own individuals than going out and hiring externally. So we want to give those opportunities to our internal people first. And like Rob said, the opportunity knocks. When the opportunity knocks, we're like any other company. Answer the door, right? Ask for challenges. For those that just, I would give you this as life advice, not just Toll Brothers, but if you come in and it's just a 9 to 5 job and that's how you view it, opportunity is going to take longer to knock. But if you're coming in and you learn and, absorb as much information and ask for new challenges, Toll Brothers is one that will reward you with it.
I would echo a lot of these things as well. In the management associate program, I've actually seen individuals who've been with Toll for a few years transition into the program as an effort to silo into a different role. For example, one of our MAs, she was in sales for 3 years, and now she's in the MA program and is looking to transfer into community planning. From my perspective as well, I've never felt necessarily siloed into one part of the company at all. As a project manager in community planning, we're not as active on site anymore. And my director has been very, open with me in terms of having discussions of, do you think an area production manager role would be better for you? Or do you want to see more of the sales sides, things like that? And I would absolutely echo that. There's a lot of internal movement within the company, both, within a division, across the country, and also across different roles. It's very rare that someone will feel necessarily stuck in one portion of the company that, they don't see themselves, moving on in the future with that.
Great. It looks like we have a live question. So Scott, do you want to give us your question?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, my name's Scott Buchanan. I'm currently on active duty here down at Fort Stewart, looking to move back to the New Jersey area where I grew up. My question is for Mike here, regarding, kind of your outlook on the future of the company. Is there any concern about the rising interest rate environment that we're seeing right now, and potentially how that might squeeze what potentially could be, new or second home buyers in that regard? What are some lessons that were learned in kind of 2008? Is there any concern about that at all? Or, are there any lessons that we took away from 2008 that, kind of eases the concerns of the company in that topic?
Well, first, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
One of our, as you saw, one of our employee resource groups is our veteran group. So we do actively recruit military. So as you go through your DoD TAP program, transition assistance program, right? If there's ever an opportunity that you see at Toll Brothers, please make sure you reach out to us. Yes, we are aware of the rising interest rates. For over a decade, the rates have been at historic lows. But when you look at like a 5 or 6% interest rate, if you look at it historically, it is it's still a very low interest rate, right? I joke that my parents, I think, bought their first home in the mid 1970s, and their interest rate might have been like 17%. So this is a much different market than the early 2000s, right? And we have learned lessons. You don't do a lot of, you look at like spec building and stuff like that. But we stick to our principles, hence the reason, the way we underwrite land, the way we evaluate, profit and loss, looking at, housing costs, things like that. We stick to who we are as an organization. And that's what enables us to weather the storm. Will we feel, did we feel it during the Great Recession? Absolutely. Every company, every home builder did, as well as a lot of companies just throughout the country. So we'll keep an eye on the interest rates and just see how it impacts the buyer. I don't think a 6% interest rate, and again, this is just Mike Patchke, this is not the view of Toll Brothers. I'd have to read forwards looking statements. Probably doesn't stop the home buying. Maybe it slows it down, but that's to be seen. But we are aware of what's going on out there.
I also think Toll has done a wonderful job at diversifying where we are in the various markets. Having the ability to not only offer high-end, but also multifamily and affordable luxury. We're able to weather kind of where the market is. If you're only into high-end homes, then as the interest rate grows, then you will see a drastic drop in that. But we're actually pretty successful at being at the various levels of entry, not almost entry, but second buyer and, college living and adult. So it helps us a lot, I believe, just being able to be prepared for fluctuations and how the interest rate will affect other builders.
So to build on that real quick, and I'll get to the next question. But the benefit of Toll Brothers is the diversification of the product line and the geographic footprint. So one of the things that we did learn during the last recession, 2008, was the apartment business. Hence, Doug Ely, our CEO, goes out and says, we really got to ramp up apartment living. And that has been a very successful part of our business because, real estate is cyclical. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It's shown us that over time. So at some point, somebody needs to live somewhere. So whether they are living in a for sale single family Toll Brothers unit, whether that's the affordable luxury, the luxury active adult, move up. But there's also this rental sector that just gets somebody housing and gets them into the Toll Brothers brand. What better way to get somebody into as a renter, ultimately to become a home buyer? So one of the things we learned during the last cycle is let's make sure we ramp up our apartment living business.
Great answers. One question we got in the chat is, Mike, you may be able to touch on this a little better than I could, but could you speak on the marketing aspect of the company? So I know every division will have typically have a couple marketing people within the group, but the main hub for our marketing is out of corporate. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on. Pretty much it's huge. So go ahead.
Yeah. Marketing, we try to do as much as we can in-house. Marketing, what we call account management, is typically out in the field, right? Your marketing directors, your managers, your coordinators are out in the field in division offices, because the way you sell and market a house in Houston, Texas may be a little bit different than the way you sell, market, and build a house in Los Angeles, which is a little bit different than the way we do it in Massachusetts. So there is this local knowledge of understanding what marketing is while maintaining our brand. So you have that account management that is out in the field working with the leaders and making sure that from a tactical marketing standpoint, we drive as much traffic as we can to the community. Back here in corporate in Fort Washington, just outside Philadelphia, you then have essentially this in-house agency. So you have media buyers, you have web designers, web developers, so that when a community needs something updated on a website or in a brochure or mailer, you have a corporate entity that can help with that deliverable. So a lot of positions of marketing are here, but we do have marketing account management out in the field.
Thank you for that. And it looks like we have another live question. Is it Balvindra?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for this amazing session. I am a graduate student in University of Texas at Arlington, pursuing my master's degree in construction management. And I wanted to ask a question that with the current scenario with Ukraine conflict ongoing, I read a research by CMAA, which was published, which says that there is an further increase in the construction material prices due to the supply chain issues. So does Toll Brothers see an anticipated rise in the prices of home due to this conflict, or the supply chain is more or less okay?
I don't know if I can answer. I'll take a stab. I don't know if there's direct correlation to housing prices or labor and material prices due to the conflict in the Ukraine, but we do feel supply chain issues like everybody else does, right? Like a grocery, it's tough to get certain product to a grocery store. Again, we're hyper sensitive in in product delivery, whether it's dishwashers, garage doors, roofing shingles, lumber prices, right? There was about over a year ago, you had this like explosion of lumber prices, right? Every other day, lumber prices was just continuing to increase. And then it kind of like levels off. So it's something that we have very strong from a local standpoint. You have purchasing that is looking at product and labor and materials. And then we also have large national contracts here at the corporate office where we do corporate purchasing with whether it's, Whirlpool appliances, various products like that, that we're, in touch with them. And yeah, we weather the storm from a supply chain issue like everybody else does. But I don't know if it's correlation to the conflict in the Ukraine right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for responding.
Thanks for the question. We got one other question. Let's see, what are the common challenges encountered when developing land for construction?
I'll go with that one.
Yeah, Rob.
First problem is the land is expensive. Depending on the market you're in, there's not a lot of free land for you to build. So there's opportunities with infill or tear down. But down here in Texas, our biggest deal is mobility and the constant addition to roadways, which is driving up rural areas where we typically would find a deal on land. Secondly, we also have supply chain issues like everyone else. The contracts used for developing land are typically higher in the dollar amount. So those could get substantial. And so you're constantly looking at, how the deal works with your financial model. The other problem is workforce. So as we've gone through the pandemic and other things, not everyone has returned to work. So finding contractors who have the availability and the manpower to get these jobs completed on time and near your budget so we can turn that over to home building are just a few of the things that we battle every day. And the best you can do is to try to pre-plan and try to get in front of it.
Good answer. Anybody else want to touch on that one? Not when Rob answered it. I know that's what I was thinking too. Okay, so I'm seeing a few questions in here about internship opportunities. Where do you find them? I know in the chat our Toll career pages link is listed, so please feel free to go there and you'll be able to search internships or just any of our openings in certain locations. One thing I will say about our internship program, it is getting very close to summer, so we don't have many opportunities left. And then also location is a big thing for us. We will pay you for the internship, but unfortunately, we don't pay any housing stipends or relocation. So the ideal candidate is going to have friends or family in that location that the opening is for there. So they just already have living established, and then we don't have to worry about, or they don't have to worry about spending their whole entire paycheck on relocating, because that would be stressful and it is expensive out there right now. So if you have any other questions about internships, please put them in the chat. We're also getting a lot of questions about the management associate program. So Leora, I know you mentioned that you were your background is in commercial construction. Maybe you can explain to the audience what got you interested in the management associate program.
Sure. So my background is in commercial real estate on the banking side. So I was doing a lot of debt underwriting for large commercial portfolios, large developers throughout the Los Angeles, metropolitan area. As it relates to moving into home building, I think I always had an eye on it. Especially, I think for me, the difference, in general of Toll Brothers versus everyone else, it's this discrepancy between building a house and a home. And I think that Toll really emphasizes the design and the intimacy of working with buyers and, giving them a very unique product. And I found out about Toll Brothers when I was a sophomore in college. Our real estate association had a tour of one of the master plan communities that was being built down in Southern California in Carlsbad. And I met someone who was 3 years out of USC, and he was walking us around the site. And I think something clicked for me that it was a very unique industry. It was a very unique role to go into. And it wasn't something that, you could necessarily just find everywhere. And I love the idea of having something very interactive. And so as it relates to going the management associate route, I had initially applied for a project manager position, but I didn't have the necessary background to necessarily go into that head first. And the management associate program was that perfect blend of, we'll give you the opportunity to explore multiple divisions within the company. The LA division needed more support in community planning, which worked out because that's the route I wanted to take. But I spent Thursdays for the first few months on site with one of my construction managers. I work very closely with 3 of my sales teams, and gradually as you're in the program, I would say there's no division that has a one size fits all management associate program. Some people will spend 10 weeks in land development training. Some people will spend 2 weeks in land development training. And so it's a very fluid program. And I think if anything, that's a very beautiful thing about it, because you can echo to your manager what areas you have more of an interest in, and they will, do their best to cater to it. I've never seen it where, they're not flexible in terms of you learning, because that is the entire purpose of the management associate program, is to get your feet wet so that you can explore what suits you best, what suits the needs of your division best, and ultimately where you see yourself growing. And I would also say it's been really exciting for me to see how many women are in the management associate program, because construction in general, it's not always like that. Real estate development in general is not, very, female focused. And I think, coming into the MA program, being connected with so many individuals across the country, it's an awesome experience to go through. And, to go from being a management associate in less than a year into project management position, I would say there's absolutely opportunity for growth.
Yep. And I was going to say, too, to touch on that, from what Leora said, I cover the management associate positions throughout the whole country. So I work with each division on what they're looking for. And this will answer a couple of questions that were asked. With this position, it's so unique, and there isn't like an ideal candidate on paper. It is going to be a lot of your previous experiences, or it's your education. We do get a lot of candidates with their master's in real estate development or master's of construction, or then some people just have a master's of an MBA. And it's really, it comes down to who they, like the whole person, which is in the David had asked, the whole person, and then also your interest in the industry, and then specifically within home building. So maybe you have an MBA and you don't really have any construction or home building or any real estate experience, but you're active in clubs and you're active in real estate, something within the community that you're showing us that you're really interested in this industry. And I think that also is going to help win the interview for the management associate role. So hopefully that can answer some of the questions about that management associate program. And it looks like we have a live question.
My name is Olumui Wajibo, and I'm interested in construction management, management and superintendent, and I have an experience in land surveying and engineering, and I have a degree in construction management technology. Would that be able to transfer my skills over to construction management or assistant construction management?
Yeah, good question. I would say definitely, depending on how much experience you would have or you have, would kind of determine assistant construction manager or construction manager. But typically the entry-level position out of school with construction or engineering is going to be our assistant construction management position. And we have a lot of those open. So yes, I would say that would work for a builder role for sure.
And then if you applied on Way Up for the panel, do we have to send my resume back in again or no?
I don't think you need to. I think that the Way Up application ties to our applicant tracking system. So we should see your application in on our end. What position did you apply to? What location?
Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Construction management superintendent.
Got it. We could follow up with the Houston recruiter to see where we're at with that position for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One of the things to remember is, Toll Brothers we're a large production home builder. So while our competition might be the small local custom builder, the best entry level opportunity for someone with that construction science degree really could be that, is either like that assistant land development manager, that management associate, or the assistant construction manager. coming in at those levels to understand how we run our business, because it's a lot of volume, right? We're in a fast-paced environment. So I've always made the joke, like, I have no idea how to build a house. But if you stuck me out in the field and said, Mike, figure out how to build one house, I could probably figure it out. But that's not Toll Brothers. Toll Brothers is an active job site where you're building like 30 houses in a year or 40 houses. So it just becomes this high volume. So it's good to bring somebody in at that like assistant construction manager level. We are very good at teaching you the business, how the business operates, how do we schedule subcontractors, how do we manage trades, right? Same thing with Rob Jones. He can, if you have a passion for being out in the field and developing land and moving earth and grading and excavating, Rob Jones can teach you the business, right? Leora can teach you the business of how we deal with subcontractors, how we deal with the homeowner, right? But we can't teach you the passion to wake up in the morning and want to build houses, want to move earth, right? Things like that. That's what we're looking for in an individual. And that's why Amanda said, there's no like ideal background that somebody comes into. We want to hire good people that have a passion for home building, right? Real estate is a very broad term, but we want the people to have that passion for what they do, and especially in home building.
Well said. We've gotten a couple questions regarding international students and sponsorship. We have done sponsorships in the past. Unfortunately, right now, we are not doing any sponsorship. So I'm afraid that we're currently not going to be able to provide any sponsorship at this time. So that answers a few of the questions we've gotten. And then let's see. As far as the management associate, again, I think we've touched on that. We've gotten a couple questions about what kind of degree works. It's very open for that. One thing, I know we have about 5 minutes left, so I wanted to ask the panel, what advice do you have or would you have for somebody new to the industry?
I can start on this. I think that networking is very important. I think there's a huge emphasis on networking in college. And when you start a job, I think that mentality kind of shifts. And I think staying on top of that and realizing that, you know, in the real estate industry as well, who you know will get you just as far. And, you know, having more than one mentor, establishing relationships with people who aren't necessarily within your immediate team is important. And I think staying curious. There's a lot of, you know, emphasis on there's no such thing as a stupid question. And I think when you join a new industry, that couldn't be more true. There are still things that I absolutely don't know. And I think that having access to multiple people and establishing strong relationships with, you know, people in different companies or people in different roles within Toll Brothers or different, you know, classmates and peers that are, you know, trying to pursue something similar. I think, you know, asking questions and expanding your wing in terms of who you would ask questions, it allows you to stay humble. I've been in real estate since 2019 as a profession, and I've been studying it since 2014 as a, you know, as a subject matter, but there's still so much that I don't know. And I think that, you know, Mike and Rob and Jasmine and Amanda, you'll probably echo, it's not something that you learn overnight, and everybody has a different skill set in this industry. So I would say networking and asking questions 100% is what will, you know, increase that learning curve.
I would also just say being willing to take on new opportunity as it presents itself. You really want to be a sponge, get involved in different projects, and take control of your own development. If there's something that you're interested in, make it known. As Leora said, make sure that you're asking questions and utilizing your network to try to get more experience in whatever it is that you're interested in. But really just put yourself out there. That would be my best advice. And be open to learning new things, taking charge of what you want to do, what you are interested in, because that's only going to benefit you in the long run to help you, you know, propel your career.
I would say first, just being open-minded and kind of getting out of your comfort zone. Like I said earlier, I'm an engineer. I am math based. I love construction. I have learned to find a love for finance and accounting, the resident experience, land planning, and landscape architecture. By being open to learning new things, you get to encompass what the company does as a whole, and you're not siloed into your one little area. And I just think that helps you with your enjoyment of what you do every day, because you know each piece and how it affects the next piece, and you feel part of something bigger than yourself. And the other thing would just be to be persistent. You're gonna have good days and bad days in the industry, and sometimes a no is a no is just, yes with conditions. You got to keep pushing on. A lot of times these projects we get are 10, 15, 20 years in length, and there are days when you're like, oh, we're not going to make it to tomorrow, but you keep pushing, and you can see that finish line. And once you get there, there is such a experience of joy and relief. So just keep pushing and be flexible and willing to learn, and you can go as high as you want to.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to echo the same thing that everyone else did, right? Learn as much as you can, be a sponge, meet as many people as you can, understand that not every day is going to be rainbows and lollipops, and right, there's going to be tough days, but like Rob said, you push through it, right? And it's a great industry to be in, right? We provide housing for people. We have a great brand. It's just a pretty cool industry to be part of, and take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you to learn new things, meet new people. Best advice I can give you.
If I can add one more thing, I also believe that starting new out of college, it's really important to establish a good relationship with your manager, because they understand you're new, they're there to support you, and there's only benefit from communicating with your manager. And I know for me, having a strong relationship with my direct manager, as well as my VP and division president, has definitely it served me in so many ways. And I also think through the management associate program, we have somebody who helps facilitate a lot of our training. Her name is Val, and I think depending on her and connecting with her over the course of my entire time in the program also really pushed me forward. So I think that Toll is really strong in the sense that there are resources for you, especially starting out. And it's important to take advantage of those from the very beginning.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you, panelists. We've got a couple questions about specific positions. So I don't know all the positions that we have open right this second, but you can definitely check out our Way Up page. And then also, if you just go to tollbrothers.com, you could see all of our positions open at the Career Center. So there you will be able to see what exactly we have open in what location. We do all appreciate you joining. It's been great. Panelists, thank you for being here.
Way Up, thank you for putting this together.
Yes, thank you, Way Up.
Again, thanks everyone for participating. Obviously, you see our names on the screen, right? Feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn, but also make sure you check us out on the Way Up platform. And if any opportunity you ever see posted, feel free to apply to the opening. But thanks everyone for your time. Panelists, thank you for taking time out of your busy day. We know we got a lot going on. Leora and Rob and Jasmine, thank you very much.